Hell yeah. We're going to talk about Cam Newton today, folks. It's good. Let me get my data ready. Sip on this tea real quick. Mm-hmm. Y'all gonna stop disrespecting my man like that. Not to mention how much money we can save. But anyway.
Get your comms up. Get your comms up.
The Panther Comms Podcast with Timmy VO.
To Cam statistics, because I think it's very important that we get a sense of what he did in his last full season after his Liz Frank. I'm just saying, after his Liz Frank. So the way the Patriots used Cam was basically as a running back. His passing numbers were horrible. I mean, and again, he played for one of the best, if not the best, NFL head coaches of all time. And Belichick knows how to get the most out of his players. All right, so let me pull up his stats real quick. Oh no, that was here we go. And this is from. The source of his article is Boston.com. This is a sports section, and they did a pretty decent breakdown of it. I suggest you guys go check it out. I'll put the link in the on the YouTube video, the write up for the podcast. So let me talk about his passing first, okay? And this is Cam Newton's last full season, which was with the New England Patriots. The article reads, let me cite the writer. I'm sorry. I should be better than that. It's by Kari Thompson. This came out on March 12th, 2021. Of course, they were thinking that Cam was going to come back and start for him, but that did not happen. Let's see. So I'm just going to read a little snippet for you. Newton's average depth of target last year was just 7.3 yards, tied for 34th in the league, right? And that's from a minimum of 121 attempts. With New Orleans Saints backup Taysom Hill, Newton didn't register a particularly high amount of turnover-worthy throws, according to PFF's metrics, but he also didn't produce many big-time throws, quote-unquote. Passes graded as having, excellent ball location and timing, generally thrown further down the field and or a tighter window. That was their definition of a big time throw. In short, Newton essentially played the role of game manager last season, largely keeping the ball out of harm's way as the Patriots relied heavily on their stellar ground attack. The end result, a passing attack tied for the third fewest explosive pass plays, completions of more than 20 yards, in the league at 38, and ranked 30th overall in passing yards. Okay, so I mean, he didn't. If you're watching the video, you see this. And listeners, his passer rating versus the league average in 2020, his passer rating was at 82.9, was 65 at 65.8% completion, with 2,657 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 10 picks. Okay, but if you look a little deeper, they didn't want him to pass the ball. Belichick wanted a sound running game to develop a play action out of and to exploit that. It's interesting, but if you look at what he did in the run game, I mean, he acted a fool. And again, this is after the surgery. And with the line that we have now, I think Cam can be an even a deadlier asset at the quarterback position with a healthy McCaffrey, DJ, who he already has chemistry with. I remember, folks, he just went to the Patriots for 1 year. You're not going to develop rapport and all the other stuff in just one offseason with these guys, especially if you're not a Tom Brady type of quarterback. Let's not kid ourselves. Cam isn't known for his passing ability, but if you have been watching the Carolina Panthers since 2010, you see what happens when Cam has a good offseason, a healthy offseason, mind you, not getting in car accidents and shit like that and coming off of surgeries. And he comes in dialed in and has a good rapport with his receiving core. You have a 2015. You have a rookie season. And granted, we have Steve Smith and, Chud really was dialing up some stuff. But you have that potential. You have a, when was it that the season that he got through, 2017, I believe it was, when he got hit in the shoulder. That, folks, we were on a roll. And what happened? Cam was working with Scott and Norv in the offseason on his technique, his timing, his footwork. Nitpicking. He had his best averages, mind you, his bet leading up to that Steelers game on Monday night, whenever, when we just got absolutely pummeled. That was embarrassing as well. But anyway, it is obvious. If you get Cam in the building early, get him in OTAs, get him in at Wofford and get that rapport. Again, which he already has somewhat of, because he came in last year and he was with the team and he was getting reps in practice, and he already has a rapport again with two of the best. Yeah, well, actually, the two best players on the offense is DJ and CMC. This is just football, folks. Sam lost a lot of reps last year because of that injury, and he was already on a downward spiral before he got hit in Atlanta. But let me talk about Cam's running game at New England, and obviously he didn't look like he came to Carolina banged up. Now, did he? Okay, so again from the article, many experts wondered whether Newton could ever run with his trademark physical style again after a Liz Frank injury ended his 2019 season. People still sleep on that shit. This is how he came back. And we thought he wasn't healthy enough. This is how he came back. A healthier 2020 version of Newton proved otherwise, and the Patriots used him as a runner unapologetically. New England called design runs for Newton 71 times last year for 407. Now, granted, this is 2020, not last year. That's the fourth highest total of his 10-year career. Fourth highest. And we know the work he put in. That was his fourth highest. The Patriots especially preferred using Newton on gap-style run concepts with man-to-man blocking or lead blocking schemes. He had 57 carries. Allowing the big quarterback to get downhill like on his quote-unquote power concept against the Miami Dolphins when he showed his ass in the red zone, mind you. I think they're lined up on like the 5-yard line. Moving on, Newton's 592 yards rushing, which includes includes scramble yards. Oddly enough, that's how he got his Liz Frank injury in the first place. But anyway, set a New England franchise record for quarterbacks. That's really insignificant because New England never had really had a mobile quarterback. But that's neither here nor there. And he tied for the most first down rushes he's ever had in his career. Does this sound like a man that wouldn't benefit the Carolina Panthers? With the right coaching, obviously. Can't say the same for Sam. Can't say the same. I'm sorry. The man had 56 first downs last year. 56 first down rushing. Rushes. Okay. Rushing for a first down. Again, that's 2020. But this man had to come off the couch. Moving on. His 49-yard run against the New York Jets also marked his longest rush since 2017. And this is, again, coming off of a Liz Frank injury. We know he can run. We know what McAdoo can do with quarterbacks. We know McAdoo likes to use a tight end. Cam Newton flourished every time the tight end was a focal point or tried to be the focal point of offensive schemes and offensive play calling for Cam. He has flourished. I'm not saying Ian is good. Come on, dude. Don't even put that even in the same zip code. Ian I shouldn't even mention Greg's last name. Trimble's good. But the point is to make an effort to utilize them in the passing game. Nobody has done that for Cam in years. With the defense that Fitterer is putting together and the coaching staff that's coming together, and that really has got my mind thinking about this, to be honest with you. Having Cam in that locker room would just be a major benefit. Major benefit. He takes care of his body. He eats right. Everybody in the mama knows how hard he works. And on top of that, we don't have to reach necessarily because we've made some great moves in the offseason so far on defense and offense. We don't have to reach at number 6. Hell, if we wanted to get one of these badass DNs, there's a bunch of freaks coming out the draft this year. If we wanted to do that at the number 6 pick, we could do that and be fine if we have Cam. I'm sorry. Sam Darnold has not earned the starting position on this team. Not after seeing what he did in that downward spiral when it came to his gameplay. When he came off an injury, I knew it was going to be sporadic. You know, when them lights turn on, you can see it, dude. You can see it in his eyes. It's deer in the headlights, man. His oh shit meter is short, dude. You can see it in his face. Especially after that first hit, he gets a little pressure up the middle of the A gap. And I used to get Cam a lot. People used to send the funk up the A gaps to get Cam off his pedestal and be waiting for him and have that spy looking at him. And that's when Greg got off. That was his release valve. You couldn't spy on Cam and have Greg running around behind the linebacker. And safeties normally couldn't match up with him because he was so tall and his wingspan was huge. People don't realize how big Greg is. Greg and Cam I'm gonna see eye to eye, bro. They're like Greg he's a big dude. Was nice, his catch radius is it's great. But having Cam and McAdoo, I think that's far more beneficial than people might want to think. And again, if you look at McAdoo's dossier, he loves to use the tight ends in the offense, and he loves running the football. And the fact that he has the potential, the opportunity not only work with Cam Newton, but to groom Willis. I mean, and I don't hate Pitts. The kid can play, obviously. Oh, his hand size. Man, shut the hell up with that shit. His hand size doesn't mean anything. What does the ball do when it leaves his hand? The kid can play. That is obvious. But from an NFL standpoint, it seems to me that Willis is coachable. He's astute. And he already has a connection and tie with probably one of the greatest Panthers to ever put on a uniform. That still has the potential to play here and put fans in that stadium. I'm sick and tired of seeing all these other jerseys and shit in those stadiums. Y'all need to stop doing that shit. That whole scenario right there, and again, this is based on what the Panthers have done in the offseason in signing critical players to this team. That whole scenario is too perfect. It needs to happen. If Tepper can keep his shit together and just be like, you know what? That's 18 mil gone. But I'm going to make a lot more if I get Willis and Cam on this team at the same time. You'll make your money back, Tep. You'll make your money back. Especially if we start winning. Because you know what it's like to win with Cam Newton on this team. The energy is contagious. And at a time when people are paying $5 a gallon, you might want to make sure it's worth taking a drive down there and checking out the game. This is not personal, folks. Cam Newton needs to be on this team because it makes the Panthers better, especially if you draft his protege, so to say, with a McAdoo offense. And we've seen the pieces that we put together on defense already. These young bucks are getting better. Hassan is not here, so Burns is going to have to act a fool. We got Marquise back, D-Jax. But folks, I mean, this defense, Federer has found some gems in the late rounds, Legion of Boom. Don't sleep. Maybe we don't need a reach. Maybe we just need to be smart. Now, again, this is just me. I'm not coming at this from a personal standpoint, because I'm looking at Cam's stats right now from from when he played for us last year. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's amazing this man came off the couch and did what he did, but at the same time, it looks like he came off the couch and did what he did. Statistically speaking, I'll just run over this real quick and I'll let you guys go. Statistically speaking, he had his best game against the Washington football team, oddly enough. Old Coach Rivera. He had a 120.5 quarterback rating. 27 of 21, 77 percentile, 189 yards, 2 touchdowns. Off the couch, mind you. Of course, we remember what he did in Arizona. Just get him in the red zone, coach. It's like Shaq. Just get him in the paint, coach. Just get him in the paint. I mean, his second highest quarterback rating was against the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, that sample size is very he had 4 attempts, 3 completions, and a touchdown. So I mean that Washington game was telling. 27 attempts, 21 completions. That's efficiency. Okay. Now his worst game was Miami. That was Miami's defense was acting a fool, and that was also an exposure on our offensive line and Cam's inability to trust the O-line and his lack of continuity with the receiving core. Because the only way you're going to beat a defense that's bringing heat is if you get that ball out quick to your hot receiver. And that requires timing, because normally that hot route is going to be ran in a manner that it's going to be, we're talking 2 seconds, maybe. That ball's coming out, so that the quarterback needs to have a better understanding where that receiver is going to be, and that's another reason why he threw 2 picks in that game. I remember one specifically. Everybody was like, "What the?" Now, I think DJ was too. Like, what, bro? What are you doing? Because his timing was off. If he threw that ball early, it might have gotten there. At least in a manner where the DB wouldn't be able to get to it. But I think another incident was maybe a tip ball, maybe. But that his Miami game, he had a 5.8. I mean, that was just horrendous. But yeah. I still think if Cam has time to work with McAdoo and understand what's going on, and they can bring in Willis and coach him up. I ain't saying keep Cam for the next 3-5 years. I mean that's ridiculous. We need to move on. We need to move on in a way that's going to appeal to the fan base. I don't think Pickett is that, especially if we're going to lose CMC again. And then that's another insurance policy that I don't think folks are really thinking about. Even if we lose CMC, our offensive line has improved dramatically, and we haven't even drafted yet. It has improved dramatically. So losing CMC to injury, to a trade, I'm just saying it could happen. That will put us in a position where we're not like, oh shit. Okay, at least we got Cam. Cam has had an offseason. Cam is using his tight ends, and McAdoo's calling good stuff. And Willis is learning. I mean, that. And Panther fans, you know this better than anybody else. Optimism gets you through the day. Optimism gets you through the day. Okay? Optimism gets you through the day. And if something happens to CMC again, we can still win games with this offensive line. Put Brady Christensen at left tackle, quit playing games. We can get it done this year, folks. I ain't saying we're going to the playoffs or nothing like that, but we can definitely see a turnaround. And it'll be a lot more exciting if Cam Newton's at the helm. That Cam Newton CMC combination is deadly. We've seen it. And with the right coaching staff, especially at the OC, and Cam and Matt Rhule can just live in different areas. I think Cam can bring a well-earned boost to the morale of this team and this franchise, and more importantly, us. Either way, the offseason, Fitterer and his team are doing a remarkable job. I did have my doubts big time, but it's obvious that Matt Rhule ain't calling the shots. He's just taking the drinks. Yeah, that's the way it should be, because he don't know what the fuck he's doing. All right, anyway. So, enjoy your Monday, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, keep pounding. Yeah, have a good one. Yes, sir.
Get your comms up.
The Panther Comms Podcast with Timmy VO.